to Business Blurb You and the Women Running Businesses podcast. My name is Francisca Lee, and I'll be your host. If this is your first time listening to Women Running Businesses, we are a weekly podcast that brings successful female entrepreneurs in every week to dive deeper into their minds. So, stick around to hear authentic and honest conversations surrounding entrepreneurship, and make sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. Today, we have a very special guest, Gabby Schultz. Gabby is a TikToker from New Jersey with over 2.5 million followers. She is best known for her dancing, POVs, and various other viral videos on the popular video sharing app. Gabby, we're so happy to have you on here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Of course. So let's get right into it. Tell me, what is it like being so young and having 2.5 million followers on TikTok? Did you ever think that this is where you'd be now?
I definitely didn't think that it would happen, but it's honestly incredible looking at what I'm doing and experiencing on the daily with traveling and income compared to other 16-year-olds, and also being a role model for a lot of young girls, because I have an 80% female following, and a lot of them are around like that 12 to 14 age range. So I always have girls telling me about how much they look up to me as like a role model or a big sister, and how they want to be just like me. And it's crazy because it's like I'm still a kid and I don't even know what I'm doing, and they're just telling me how they look up to me, and I think it's crazy.
For sure, that is absolutely amazing. How have you seen kind of having this following affect your own life?
It's definitely made me a lot more confident and mature, I feel like, because being around a lot of other older influencers and usually being the youngest one, I've had to act more mature. And the traveling and like having a lot of friends from it has definitely made me a lot happier and brought a lot of good opportunities.
That's awesome. So let's go back to your roots. How did you get started with social media, and where do you kind of get your inspiration for your, TikToks and everything from?
For inspiration, I kind of just do whatever comes to mind. I'll kind of just think of something random in bed and make it, or I'll see something else on my For You page that I'll kind of just like work off of. But how I started is I used to post videos on the app back when it was Musically, and I'd get my 5 views and 15 likes and whatever. But I also started YouTube in 2015 because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and I was bullied so bad I had to transfer in 7th grade. And YouTube just kind of gave me that outlet. Like I had someone to talk to, even if it was just like my camera, and my 3 views were my mom, dad, and grandpa. And I've always had a passion for it, and I love editing and content creation, and it's always been my dream. But I didn't realize at the time that nobody really wanted to watch a 12-year-old talk about how to get a boy to like you back and my little clothing hauls from Justice or the Gap. And I just remember praying every night because religion has a big part of my life. And I've gone to Catholic school since 8th grade, and I would pray and ask God, just please make me social media famous. I want to be an influencer. I want to be like these people I watch. I want to be famous so badly. And I was wondering, I was like, why isn't God giving it to me? Like I've been praying for so long, but I realized that he was just waiting until I was at an age where I could handle it mentally and physically in the aspect of traveling and collabing and all that.
That's awesome. So I know you mentioned that you kind of started with like, I want to get famous.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did it kind of hit you that like, wow, there are people who are actually watching me, and like these are real people who like are listening to what I'm putting out there?
So I don't think it really hit me until I hit like 1 million followers, because before that, so I grew pretty fast on the app, because how I would grow is I'd have like a viral video and it would boost me a bunch of 1,000 followers up, and then like I'd be like kind of like a steady pace where I wasn't really growing, wasn't having that many views, and then another viral video and it'd boost me up. But then when I got to 1 million, I started having all these fan pages and people who consistently came to like all my content and stuff, and then DMing me telling me how much they look forward to my content, how my content like gives them joy and everything like that. And I was like, wow, like these are actual people that like I'm making an impact on.
That's absolutely crazy, and I can't imagine being in your shoes at all. So are you monetizing your TikTok? Like, are you treating it like your job, or is it still just kind of a hobby on the side, besides school?
Yeah, TikTok is my full-on job. I do all my own outreach. I have my own media kit. I handle my own inbox. I've done it all since December of 2019 when I started. So I've never had any other job. It's just been TikTok.
Wow, that's crazy. And do you kind of just do it all by yourself, or do you have, team or management, anyone that's like kind of supporting you behind the scenes?
Well, I am part of a non-contracted media company called Project Ludic, where we get the opportunities to connect with other creators. It's run by one man, Julian. He's done so much for me with, advice on how to grow and helping me with people at school and drama and all of that. And we actually just the past month and a half, I was traveling with the group, and we stayed in Texas for a couple of weeks and then Florida for a couple of weeks. And within those around like 4 weeks that I was gone, I grew 600K.
Oh my God, that is absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So do you ever plan on moving out to LA or like any other places to further your career in the entertainment industry?
I do. I feel like a lot of TikTokers I talk to like say how like, oh, I like visiting LA, but I could never live there. But I know I could live there. I absolutely love it. I went once in October, and as soon as my plane landed, I just started bawling my eyes out because I was like, oh my gosh, like all my dreams are coming true. This is what I wanted for so long. And I'm applying to all colleges in LA because I definitely want to go to school, but I definitely want to be in LA too.
Of course, yeah. So, kind of switching gears here just a little bit, where do you see yourself in the next like 3, 5, I don't know, 10 years?
I definitely going to college. I want to study social media management or just any kind of management and business. And if my following does die out, because I know for a lot of people, they can't like make more out of their accounts past like a year or two. So I know if my following does die out, now that I have like the general knowledge on that and outreach and all that I want to start my own management company for the next generation of it.
That's absolutely amazing. So being so young, how do you balance, social media with the rest of your life? Like, academics, any extracurriculars, and, just in general, having a social life for yourself.
I still go to school, and I didn't do any sports this year. A lot of traveling this past year. So like during soccer season, because I've played soccer for a while, I just like I didn't do it because I was traveling like in the beginning of or in the end of the summer. I went to South Carolina with a bunch of friends, and then for October, that's still soccer season. I went to LA, so I feel like balancing like sports like while traveling, it doesn't really work out that well. So I just took this year off, and if I can continue with all of this, I'm probably not going to do sports next year either, because I'll do them as like fun, but I'm not like crazy like into the sport. Like I wasn't on varsity, so it really wasn't that big of an impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How have you seen your kind of like priorities shift ever since, kind of gaining that momentum and following?
I feel like as I grew, I just started to realize like once you start growing more, like you just start to realize like, wow, like I don't want this to stop. Like I want to keep on growing. I want to keep on influencing these people. So then you realize like, okay, I can really make a future and a job out of this than just like hang out with like a couple of my friends on the sidelines or going like playing a sport, and then just like when I don't want to do that in college, or I don't want to do that for a future. So it's like you realize that if I stick with this social media and everything, I can make a future out of this. So I really take it seriously, like it's my job.
That's awesome. So how do you kind of keep going when things start getting tough? Or like what's been a failure that you've experienced that you've had to overcome?
I feel like a lot of TikTokers go through the portion or the time period where they feel stuck and not knowing what direction they want to take their content in, or they're not gaining as much or losing followers. And that's happened to me multiple times, but I feel like just being consistent and trying new things with your content, it just really helps. And then just like knowing that I have all those like young followers that look forward to seeing my content just really makes me like, okay, like if I was that age and I used to watch my favorite influencers, I would look forward to their posts. I'd have their post notifications on. I would wait for it if they would start posting at like normal times. And then if they wouldn't, like I'd be like, oh, like I want to see their new content. So I know that's how people think about me.
For sure. And speaking of your favorite influencers, who are a couple of your favorite influencers that you'll watch like everything that they come out with, or like anyone that you watched growing up?
Growing up, I watched a lot of Jack Brinkman. He's a YouTuber. I think he's around like 2 million subscribers right now, but I used to watch all his videos from when he was at like 10,000 subscribers. Now he's at like 2 million. It's been like 4 years. I would watch every single one of his videos. And then also Colin Duffy or Duthie, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his last name, but I would watch every single one of his videos. And then I remember like I like kind of like forgot about him because he stopped posting. And then I like went back to his channel one day when I was going through my subscribed, and then I followed his Instagram, and then he followed me back, and I like freaked out, and I DM'd him, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I used to watch you and stuff. But then I got left on delivery for a little bit, so.
Oh my God. So who's the most famous person that follows you on any platform?
I don't really know. I feel like there's like a difference sometimes between like famous and then follower count. Like I feel like some people are like more relevant with less followers, and then like some people have more followers but they're not as known. Like my friend Emma, she has like 6 million, I'm pretty sure, like 6.1 million, and she follows me, but we're also like really good friends. But then also like Hunter Rowland, he was back in like MadCon in the Musical.ly days, so he's like very well known, but he only has 3 million, but he also follows me.
That's crazy. You kind of have that range of, like how you define success and famous at that point. So what does your parents kind of think about your success on social media?
My mom is completely supportive of it. She knows that this is what I've wanted for so long, and she'll sit down with me and listen to me about my content. She'll track my followers. She'll have like the live counter of my followers on. She'll be like, you're about to hit this, and like talk about my videos with me and everything. She really just wants the best for me for social media because she knows I've wanted it for a while. My dad's supportive of me too, but he doesn't really understand it as much. Like he doesn't really like understand the whole like social media thing and the fact that I can make a future out of it. He's just more focused on, okay, like as long as your grades are fine, you can do it.
For sure. And it's always nice to have a balance of, one parent that's like crazy supportive, that might be more excited about your content than you are, and another parent to kind of like bring you back to earth and be like, focus on your school.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get that done first.
Yeah.
So how have you kind of shifted your like followers from one platform like TikTok onto, Instagram or YouTube or any other social media platforms?
It's honestly really hard when you think about it because TikTok's engagement is just absolutely insane. There's so many people on the app. There's so much pushing out with the algorithm that like so many people see your video. So it's really easy to gain on the app too if you really try. But I feel like with other platforms, it's a lot harder. So I feel like I'll do a lot of things on TikTok where I'll be like, oh, I'll go private on Instagram. I'll be like, I'm accepting the next 50 on Instagram. I used to do that a lot, but now I'm public. Or like I'll just tell people like, oh, I'm following back like the next 50 on Instagram, and then like I'll follow some people back, and that kind of just gets like a little rush to the followers. But I feel like consistent growth is really hard on Instagram when your content, I feel like the people who make more of like the just like sitting there and looking pretty content, I feel like they get more of the Instagram followers. But I feel like if you're doing more like comedy or like point of views, like if you do like point of views, no one's gonna see a girl crying and be like, oh, let me follow her Instagram. And like comedy, it's like they just like watching the short skits. They don't want to see your selfies, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of hard.
For sure.
And for YouTube, I've had a lot of struggle switching my followers onto that platform. But I feel like it's just you have to be really consistent with your posting, and I haven't done like a super great job of that.
For sure. Yeah. Have you kind of shifted your content on, YouTube ever since starting TikTok? Like, have you found something that's like kind of clicked and you're like, that's what I'm gonna start doing. That's my new niche on YouTube? Or have you just been kind of doing what you were doing before TikTok on YouTube?
Not really. I've kind of been into like, I did a couple of vlogs because now I actually have like other content creator friends who I can like vlog with and who enjoy doing it, and they do it too when they're entertaining. So I feel like that's something I can do now, but I'll also just kind of stick with like those basic videos, like try not to laugh challenge, and then like advice stuff and like story times, like stuff like that, like the basic. Yeah. Because I think about like what I wanted to watch at that age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like whatever you put out there, people will see like you have that passion for, and they'll kind of pick up on that energy and kind of reciprocate
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah. What's been one of your most favorite TikToks to make?
I don't really know. Probably point of views. I really have a lot of fun with point of views because I've always been into acting ever since I was little. I've been in drama, I've been in theater, I've gone to like acting camps and workshops, and I think it's just so much fun acting. And I really want to like make a career out of acting if I could, but that's a really hard business to get into. So I'm hoping that TikTok can kind of give me that little push into like the whole world of acting, and like maybe living out in LA will help me with it too. But I feel like when I do point of views, I can really like show people like I'm not just like any like basic TikToker who just like sits there, like smiles or like dances or something. Like I can act, like I have talent, I can show your story, I can make you feel something.
For sure. And it provides that kind of creative outlet
Yeah.
that you might not get anywhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on TikTok drama? Do you ever kind of get involved, or do you just try to stay as far away from it as possible?
I haven't really been in any public drama, like TikTok or anything. Like I've never been on that. I kind of like keep my personal life out of social media, and I kind of stick to more like scripted content on my channel. I know a lot of people who have been in a lot of drama though, but like again, I don't really like, because I feel like it's more the TikTokers who live out in LA and stuff, and the content houses and all that.
For sure. And speaking of content houses, if you were ever offered the opportunity to join, say, the Hype House or any other content house, out in LA, or I don't know, content houses or anywhere else other than LA, would you take that opportunity to join them?
Yes and no, because here's why I say no, because the difficult content house business models with managements running them and hiding things and being too strict on the young influencers, not knowing how to talk to them, it doesn't work. Like, for example, all the houses in LA dissolving, like not a content house and top talent. It shows that companies don't know how to manage a house of influencers properly and sustainably. And however, if it were something where there were no contract, like what I was just doing for a month and a half, and it's more freedom and everything, and like you're all friends, then I would definitely consider it. But I really don't think I'd be able to stay for more than like 3 or 4 months, because with a lot of like teenagers and people my age, there does get to be a lot of drama.
For sure. That's some really good points on that. Would you ever start your own content house, with friends and like, live out in LA for a few months and
Oh,
do that?
definitely. If I knew that they were all my friends and we were all like chill and everything, and I would definitely do it. I think that'd be like really fun. Like maybe not just like a content house, but maybe just like living with friends. You know what I mean? Like having our own house, but not like labeled.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are some of the best parts of being an influencer?
Probably the friends that you get out of it, really. Like I again, like I had no friends like back before I started TikTok, like, or I don't know, it's been kind of differently. I feel like in middle school I had absolutely no friends, and I was bullied really badly. I said I had to transfer to Catholic school, and then 8th grade I didn't really know a lot of people because like they all grew up together in that school, because it was like a kindergarten to 8th grade school, so I didn't really know a lot of people. And then I feel like once I went to my high school, because I sticked with Catholic school, so I went to a Catholic high school, I had a lot of friends like freshman year. And then sophomore year is when like TikTok kind of started for me. And then the more followers I gained, the more real life friends I lost. And now I've absolutely no friends at school. I eat lunch in the bathroom alone, like as sad as that sounds. Like I don't have friends at my school, because not a lot of people are aged it, but it's helped me gain so many like online friends and everything that I have such good bonds with. And I feel like it's so good having those friends that are going through the same thing as you and understand it, so you can provide emotional support for each other and just have a real friend and travel with too, because not every like normal 16-year-old can just like pack their bags and go to LA for the weekend, you know what I mean? But like other influencers, it's like we understand it, and we have understanding parents who get it, so it's like you can just do that. It's really great.
For sure. And I think like your emotional maturity level is a lot higher than people that you be hanging out with at
Yeah.
school. How do you go about making friends with like other influencers? Was it just kind of like a, hey, we're both doing the same thing, let's, chat sometime and make some content? Or how does that come about?
I feel like a lot of the TikTokers who I'm like good friends with now, I've met in person actually. So like my first ever TikTok event, first ever time meeting a TikToker, anything, that was back in July. And I stayed in an Airbnb full of people that I did not know. I didn't know a single person in it. And I was just like, I was kind of like nervous and everything. I made like my best friend Danny, I made him like go with me, like to like meet everybody, because he knew some of the people in there and whatever. And like after that weekend, like after those 3 days, those turned out to be my best friends to this day. And I met so many people there, and you all just like kind of like follow each other and like make content together and stuff and like talk and hang out and just like really connect, because it's like you don't realize until you hang out with other TikTokers when you are one that we're all very alike. Like they all have problems at school, they all have problems with their families and everything, and like they're all just going through the same things as you. So I feel like definitely like meeting in person, like going to like events and everything has like helped me make like majority of my friends.
That's awesome. And you kind of also have like, the same goals in
Yeah,
life, like in the next
exactly.
3 years, you all want to be at a certain point.
And they have a lot of motivation too.
For sure. That is very important. So now that we've talked about, the best parts about being an influencer, let's talk about what are some of, the not as fun parts of being an influencer.
I feel like the worst part for me is definitely just being that I am 16 years old and I'm a junior in high school, is going to school with it, because I wasn't used to like the fact that I was going to lose so many friends because of social media. So it's like going to school and then having people just like talk bad about you behind your back and be like, oh, like TikTok girl, she thinks she's so famous, she's Hollywood, like spread rumors about you, hate on your content and all that. I feel like that's something that every TikToker who's around the same age range as me goes through. And it's really difficult knowing that your best friends live like 1,000 miles away and you can only see them like once every couple of months. I feel like that's definitely a really hard part of it.
Yeah, for sure. So with so many, different social media apps and platforms that are out there, and even more that are coming out on the daily, like Clubhouse, the audio only social media app, and like Hive Social and stuff like that, how do you kind of pick and choose which apps you get on and like dedicate your effort to?
I kind of stick to the basic ones, the more popular ones everybody knows. Like I pretty much just stick to TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and then Snapchat a little bit, but like I'm not really big on it. And then like Twitter, like I haven't used Twitter in a while. I think I have like a few hundred followers on Twitter, but I kind of just stick to the basic ones because they're kind of like easier and I know around it more and I can like predict what'll do well on them.
For sure. That's really important to kind of both stick with what you know, but also take risks on those like platforms. What are some of the positive growth that you've seen in yourself since starting TikTok and, gaining this many followers?
I feel like definitely I do a lot better job of being outgoing and like making friends with people. And like before it'd be like, you'd kind of just like stick to like your friends that you have like at home. And then now it's like when you're like put in a position where you're traveling across the country and then put in like a random setting of, like 20 plus other, like famous people, and it's intimidating. You need to know how to just like go up to any of them and be like, hey, like your content's sick, like let's make a video, let's be friends, you know what I mean? And like a lot of TikTokers, they're very outgoing like that, so you have to know how to like respond to them and be like match their energy and not just be like, oh like yeah, like you're cool, like you just gotta be outgoing. So I feel like that's helped with my character a lot.
For sure. And it's really helped with professional growth as well, for like,
definitely.
In the
definitely made me a lot more mature, like being friends with a lot of older people, like I said before, and just having more of a well-rounded knowledge on just the social media marketing business and all of that, and how to talk to companies and stuff like that, and how to make money at a young age and all that.
For sure. So what's one or, a couple pieces of advice that you'd give someone who's just starting out or aspiring to be an influencer, or like, a piece of advice that you would have given yourself, 5-6 years ago?
Definitely treat it like a job. Really make sure that, set hours for yourself, that that, like from this time to this time, like I'm going to be making content. I'm going to be making what I think will do well. I'm going to be putting effort into my content, making sure that people will enjoy it. And then like consistency, make sure you're posting, if you're starting out, like 3 to 4 times a day. And then just always stick to like around like 2 times a day as you get more into it. Because kids have really short attention spans, and especially when there's so many users on an app like TikTok, you don't post for 3-4 days, people forget about you and they'll move on to the next influencer who does the same content as you. So you have to make sure you're constantly pushing out entertaining stuff that they want to watch in order to keep growing. And then also just like, a big thing is cater to what your followers want to see and what they want to see. So like, say you only have 2 followers and they're your mom and your dad, right? Your mom and your dad are going to want to see a picture of your beautiful face. So you post a TikTok of your face, then you have that first engagement of them liking it. And then that pushes it out onto the For You page of other people, and then they'll like it too. And then say you have like one video that does well where you're, I don't know, baking, and it does really well, right? After that, post another video of you baking, and then people who followed you from that video will like it because they wanted to see that, and then that'll push out to more people. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of stick to the same thing.
Yeah, that's really important, I think, to kind of figure out what your audience wants and to keep posting videos to their wants. Yeah, I think that is an awesome note to leave off of, Gabby. You shared some amazing insights on what it's like being an influencer and being so young and influencing. And I really appreciate you coming onto the show. For our listeners, make sure to tune back in next week to Women Running Businesses. Bye.